full year and that lets you save.
Who cares?
True Form Life.
Green look on.
You've just tuned in to another episode of Exploring Mind and Body. I'm your host, Drew Tadia, fitness expert. Today we've got another great show planned for you. We're going to talk about undue stress, our stir-frying recipe of the week. I'm going to tell you why the Big Mac is underpriced and foods on a budget. All that and so much more coming up on...
This is Exploring Mind and Body with True Form's Drew Tadia, fitness expert on 96.5 CKFM. This segment brought to you by Riviera Massage and Day Spa.
All right, in this segment, we're going to talk about a Big Mac meal. I want to tell you all the nutritional value in a Big Mac and why I think it's so underpriced. A Big Mac meal is roughly $6.54. So let's go down the Big Mac nutritional list. I actually had some fun doing this. You can go right onto the website, mcdonalds.ca, and do this with any food on the menu list. I went with the Big Mac because everyone knows what they are, although I'm not sure if everyone knows what's in it. Even so, I understand many people aren't concerned with what they put in their bodies, and I'm convinced that they don't understand how much food controls so many other things besides our health. Let's jump into it. A Big Mac burger alone is 540 calories, 29 grams of fat, and 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Then I pick large fries. I pick large fries because no one really gets the small fries now, do they? 560 calories, 27 grams of fat, and 430 milligrams of sodium. Then I threw in some ketchup because we're not going to eat fries without them. 10 calories, 70 grams of sodium, and that's only one small packet. Then we have the Big Mac sauce, 60 calories, 6 grams of fat, and 65 grams of sodium. Our grand totals are 1,490 calories, 63 grams of fat, and 94 grams of sugar, along with 1,600 grams of sodium. That's hard to say, actually. These numbers are stifling. I don't even know what a person can say. Some of these numbers shouldn't be consumed in days, let alone one meal. So with all these numbers put together, and the price only being around $6.54, I gotta say, this is a pretty cheap bang for your buck. It's quick, it's easy, you don't have to cook or prepare. You could even go through the drive-thru. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. I don't see why everyone doesn't eat out. Then on the other hand, we might want to consider the stress alone these numbers put on our heart and our bodies. But that's a whole different ballgame. We're going to run right into foods on a budget. I want to go over some healthy foods and help you save a couple bucks. So many people think eating out is cheaper than food. People think that it not only saves time, but also money, visiting the closest fast food restaurant. Right here, I'm going to prove my point that shopping healthy is actually cheaper than eating out. As for time, you can visit my website, trueformlife.com, or my True Form YouTube channel that shows you how to prepare healthy meals or snacks in less than 15 minutes. Our first item is cottage cheese. On sale, you're looking at $2.99. If your serving is a half a cup, you're going to be looking at 3 servings per container at $2.99, which gives us a snack or something to complement our meal for only $1. 2 medium sweet potatoes is less than $1. A dozen eggs, roughly $2.50, is about 20 cents an egg. Can of beans, 99 cents. $3 loaf of bread. 2 slices is 40 cents. All right, now I picked a meal for you. This is going to be beans, sweet potato, and steamed broccoli. I know this isn't a conventional meal, but you get all the nutrients you need in this meal alone. Beans give you protein and fiber. Sweet potatoes, you get slow digesting complex carbs. And broccoli, you get fiber and antioxidants. Would you believe this meal is less than $2? As for prep time, you can steam both veggies at the same time and heat up a can of beans in less than 20 minutes. If you need to throw in a meat or what was used to be called the main course, let's use a chicken breast, which can be cooked within 20 minutes while the other food is cooking and can be bought for less than $2, which will increase our price to a whopping $4 for a healthy meal in only 20 minutes. Then again, for a quick and easy snack, we have cottage cheese. A half a cup is only $1. The other meal I picked for you is an egg sandwich. So we're going to go with 2 slices of bread. It's 40 cents. 2 eggs, again, is 40 cents. So that's 80 cents for the sandwich. And if you need to throw in some meat, try turkey bacon as opposed to regular pork bacon. It's much healthier, and this will cost less than $1. So this is another meal within 20 minutes for under $2. So I hope I've given you some insight on how cheap and easy healthy meals are to prepare. Personally, I'd rather deal with the stress of cooking a 20-minute meal, if you want to call it that, than the stress unhealthy foods put on our minds, bodies, and emotions.
True Form Life.
This segment brought to you by the CLC Fitness Center. Book of the Week.
All right, let's talk about this book I want to tell you about. It's called 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. I've considered not talking about this book because I don't know if I can do it justice, but I wanted to share with you in hopes that you could learn as much as I did from it. Timothy Ferriss was born to teach. No questions asked. That's what he does. That's what he was meant to do. You know how the first time you heard Martin Luther King speak, it moved you. When JFK started to lead, many followed. Then, of course, there are artists, mathematicians, and athletes who stood out at a young age. And it was clear that they excelled at one thing. It's very clear to me as soon as I picked up this book, I was going to learn a lot in a short amount of time. Not only because of what Tim teaches, but because of the way he teaches it. He has a new way of teaching and thinking. He doesn't believe in the old way or how things used to be done. Everything is done and thought of in a new way that most would agree is unconventional. But results are clear. When this book came out, the teachings were dissected and studied by experts that wanted to know if his information was true. Every test came back with positive results. Timothy challenges you to think outside the box. He pushes you to find new, more efficient ways to get things done. His main idea is efficiency and getting things done in a quicker time than you thought possible. And he's proven how to do this time and time again by using himself as an example. This is one of the most important things for me, which I can relate to. I always try things on myself or talk about what I know from experience before I recommend them to others. Most importantly, Ferriss teaches us how to get out of the rat race. He talks about how you can do your job more efficiently so you have more time to do other things, from outsourcing to automated messages, along with reducing interruptions. I can't tell you enough about all the incredible, relevant suggestions he has to offer. One of my favorite examples I read about is how we procrastinate and prolong whatever it is we need to get done. We take way too much time to get something done before a deadline, but when you think about it, it doesn't matter how much time we're given, long or short. If we have to get a project done in a limited amount of time, we always find a way to get it done. Writing a paper, setting a meeting, creating a proposal or project. If we give ourselves a week to get it done, we'll take that week. But if we only have 2 days to get it done, more times than not, we get it done. Tim shows us how to live like this, but not to get things done more efficiently so we can do more things, but so we have more freedom to do what we want. He carries on with his mindset of now. If you're not one of those people, you certainly know ones that talk about planning a trip when the time is right, when they have more money or more time off work. We talk about buying this or that when the time is perfect, when all the stars align, and whatever other excuses we can come up with not to act now. Tim shows and explains how you can have what you want now, how you can budget and plan, and realize that living the way you want to live is possible now. I couldn't agree more with how the old rich is or will be a mindset of the past. We no longer have to save everything we make. We don't have to plan to really start living until we have enough money saved up so we can retire or actually save that money for years and years to take that trip or buy that boat we've always wanted. What I'm relaying to you isn't only my perspective or Tim's. I subscribe to his blog where I read about a countless amount of people who write in and talk about how this book has changed their lives, how they've been able to escape the rat race and finally start living the life of their dreams. It's time we all start living our dreams and making them a reality. Take action now and pick up 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. If you're one of those people that's tired of dreaming, hoping, and wishing and are ready to start acting, this book is perfect for you. There's also an audiobook that can be found at local libraries that you can listen to in your car. And finally, if you want to follow Tim, see what he's up to, read some of his testimonials, and hear how countless others have really started living, check out 4hourworkweek.com. Don't wait any longer. Take action now.
True Life. This segment brought to you by Health Street. Recipe of the Week.
All right, in this week's Recipe of the Week, we have a stir fry. In this stir fry, we're going to throw together whatever's in your fridge. I'm going to tell you what's in my fridge, and you're going to make your own with whatever's in your fridge. Let's start off with quinoa, because that's going to be the base for our meal. If you're not into this super grain, feel free to cook some of your favorite rice. Hopefully the color of it's brown. Cooking quinoa is the same as cooking rice. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. So if you're going to cook 2 cups of quinoa, like we are, then you're going to want to add 4 cups of water into a pot, put it on the stove and let it cook while we are preparing the rest of our food. It's not always necessary to cook with a fat, so let's not this time. We're going to add vegetable broth into the bottom of our pan and let that heat up while we prepare some of the veggies. This is the part where you get to be creative. Grab whatever mix of veggies you can find. It doesn't matter what color or flavor or if the recipe says this or that. Some of my favorites that frequently visit my fridge are mushrooms, zucchini, different colored peppers, and onions. Once you get the veggies out that you want to throw in the stir fry, we're going to chop them up. Most people will tell you to throw the onions in first and wait till they're translucent before you throw in the rest. This could be a good idea if you're a professional chef, but I'm certainly not, and I'm guessing you're not either. So to me, it doesn't matter what goes in first. If you have things like zucchini that take longer to cook, you'll likely want to throw them in first. One of my favorite flavors in a stir fry is ginger. I also like to keep that in my fridge for shakes. So I'm going to chop up some ginger and throw that in the pan first. The vegetable broth should be well heated by now, so the rest is ready to go. Once it's chopped, we'll throw in everything together at the same time. And finally, for a little extra protein and fiber, especially if you're not into eating meat, I like to throw in some beans. Chickpeas seem to work the best in these kinds of stir fries. What we're going to do is crack open a can and put the beans in a strainer. Then we're going to let water run over them till the bubbles are gone. This washes the beans and helps reduce those gaseous side effects we get from eating beans. Once the beans are rinsed, they're ready to throw in the stir fry. That's pretty much all it takes. A little chopping and heating and we're ready to go. Now there's a couple different ways we can take the last step before eating. We could throw the cooked quinoa in the stir fry. This will make sure all those flavors in the pan will be added to the quinoa. Or you could dish out the quinoa separately on a plate and throw the sauteed veggies on top. And finally, before we taste our creation, I like to throw on some fresh parsley to bring out those extra flavors. Notice we cook simply, no recipes or measuring. This is how I learned to cook because I didn't have time to follow exact recipes. I was going to school and was only worried about the nutritious properties and health benefits more so than I was taste. Anyone can cook like this. I want to stress the fact that there are no added ingredients that aren't natural. We didn't even add sea salt to this meal. No sugar or salt-based added flavors like soy sauce or hot sauce or even ketchup. Some people think eating like this is bland because they're used to all those artificial flavors. But once you start cooking and eating like this, you'll soon appreciate the natural flavors in food and realize what a treat it is to make your own food and not worry about what's added. So next time you're hungry, reach into the fridge for whatever you got and make yourself a quick and easy meal.
True Form Life.
All right, in this segment, we're going to talk about undue stress. Each one of us carry around undue stress either all the time or from time to time. I'm going with all the time for most of us. We're always worried about something. Worried about if so-and-so will get along. Worried about coworkers or employees, friends and family. Who we are pleasing, who likes us, our jobs, and almost always our money. I like to call this undue stress. Most of the time, and I say most in capital letters, whatever we're worried about, whatever we're stressed about, whatever it is that stays in the back of our minds when it's not directly on our minds is something that isn't a big deal. At the very least, not as much as a big deal as we think it is. I'm sure we've all been in that situation where we did something we probably shouldn't have. We think we're going to get fired once the boss finds out, our best friend may leave our side, or maybe our parents will be disappointed in us. Our biggest problem in these situations is that we don't confront the issue. We put it off until it goes away, which it almost never does, or until we have no choice but to address it. This only causes stress or even anxiety to build up. Whatever we're worried about multiplies as we continue to put it off and worry about it more. Time is no friend when we're avoiding a problem. Let's talk about how to address an issue. I'm a big believer in lists. So what we're going to do is start a list. Instead of avoiding what's bothering us, let's pick the thing that's most relevant in our minds. The first step is write it down. After we've written it down, we're going to write down our biggest fear. That's right, write down the worst case scenario. Then finally, you're going to write down as many things as you can as to what you can do to take action to address these fears. Most of the time, writing down the fear alone will be a big help. I'm telling you that I can almost guarantee you that once you address the situation, once you stare it right in the face, it won't seem so bad. It's that procrastination, that hiding from the issue or problems that causes these issues to grow like they do. So once you sit down and actually address them, you'll see that they aren't so bad. And if that doesn't make you feel better, coming up with simple things you can do to make it better almost certainly will. Tell your best friend what happened. Tell your best friend what happened. They wouldn't be your best friend if they didn't understand you. Be upfront with your boss. Tell them what happened, why it happened, and why it won't happen again. And maybe if it's your parents or someone else, be honest with them. Most people are more understanding than we think. And if it's out of your control, let it go. Many times we worry about things we have no business worrying about. The most important thing we can do is address the situation in some way. Take action. Don't push your problems away. Don't push them deep down, because whatever stress or worry it brings along with it, it's not worth it. So next time something's on your mind, instead of waiting days, weeks, or even years to do something about it, start now and make a list. This week's password is health. I'm offering 25% off Trueform products for the 5th random caller, emailer, or texter who sends in this password to me. You'll call or text 403-510-4915 or visit Trueform Life for email.